Hello, my dear friends. Once again, A.S.S Science Foundation is here. So today was the exam of December 2025 NET-JRF Environmental Sciences. And as multiple of our students appeared in the exam, and some of our faculty members have reviewed the paper on center live, so we can give the community a review which is based on memory, and most of the questions we can see and filter out in our study material where the exact questions were lying as per the unit divided by our expert faculty, right? So we will be presenting that review for the exam of environmental sciences which happened today. Some of the points which strike to our mind regarding the exam are the following. Like, the exam was moderate to easy, right? So let me tell you, the level was moderate, right, to easy. So it was a moderate to easy paper, right? And looking into the level as compared to the June 2025 exam, this paper was easy, right? And looking into the paper one level also, we can expect a increase in the cutoff. So increase in the cutoff is expected. Right, that is for sure that the cutoff is going to rise, right? And our expectation is something 200 plus for a GRF or the paper in general category, and as well as around 176 to 180 marks for a net LS for general category, right? So these are some of the key reviews which we have done, as the paper was easy and most of the paper was in and around the PYQ, right? And the study material which institute have compiled, and the solutions, specifically the selected solutions which have been floated by the institute to the students, specifically June and January 2025 as well as 2024. Multiple questions were there directly. We will see that unit by unit. So let's go to the unit by unit review, which we have divided as per our study modules. We will be giving review on the basis of those things, not like in general randomly, so that the people have an idea that which units have how many questions, though exact numbers cannot be given, but an approximations can be done. So let's have a look for the community purpose, those people who are not able to give the exam, or those people who were away from the center and had not given the exam. So let's go it unit by unit and do it one by one, that how we can justify it. So we'll go, the first topic is structure of earth as per our study kit, structure of earth. So here we can see a very simple question which was there. I'm going the pages from the booklet by booklet, like which kind of questions was there. So the very first question which strike to our mind and was directly from the page number 4 of our booklet, where it have been asked, like if they ask you that relative proportion of element earth as a whole. So this question was there. This was the question, that relative proportion of element in earth as a single unit, right? So here the reply was very easy. Like, you can simply give throughout this order that iron is more than oxygen, more than silica, more than magnesium, more than nickel, more than sulfur, more than calcium, more than aluminum. So this was one of the question there, easy to answer. This was from structure of earth. Then they have basically asked you about another question which was about the uh, structure of continental crust and oceanic crust, right? That was one of the questions which we can put some light on. So they also ask the structure of oceanic crust, means how the oceanic crust is arranged, right? Structure of oceanic crust arrangement was asked, that how it is there. So these were there as per the review. Like the two questions we can clearly see from this unit which was there. And some of the like as we cover up the some of the part of the earthquake here also in the seismicity, there was one question, paper one, not here, regarding the earthquake, like which waves are there in earthquake, right? So the exact answer was there was P and S wave. So P wave was the correct answer there. So these three questions were from these sections, including the one question which came in paper one. Coming to the next unit, which is the unit on structure of atmosphere as per our modules. So structure of atmosphere, if we say in structure of atmosphere, we will definitely say there was one question definitely on like the things about Wien's displacement law, where was a temperature given, like Wien's law numerical was there, right? And it was exactly minus 18 degrees Celsius, like they have given the temperature of minus 18. So, so if you are given a temperature of minus 18, you can directly calculate, guys, it was not a tough task, right? So you can directly somehow adjust the, so you can directly first calculate the temperature and then you can divide the 2897 by 255 if it is given. So around 11.36 micrometer was the correct answer for that question which was asked in the exam. So we simply apply is 2897 divided by temperature in Kelvin, and here the Kelvin value will be 255. So once you put here the values and all, it will automatically come out to be 11.36 micrometer. So that was one of the questions in the exam today. It was an easy question, repeated question. Then the different layers, they have asked about the randomness, right? Or we can say they have asked about the randomness, right? In all layers, they have asked, light starting from the troposphere to stratosphere to mesosphere to exosphere, right? These kind of question was there if we are not wrong. Then they have also asked that water vapor is the most variable, and spatial and temporal variation was there in the water vapor, right? Specifically, this question was raised, right? So there was this question. Then again, they have asked about the hydroxyl radical also, one of the question, and that this is the most abundant free radical and most reactive oxygen species, right? Reactive oxygen species. This exam just is a perfect blend of the old things and the new things as we can correlate. Then we had a question, as such, nothing was there from structure of hydrosphere, but a small question over that, like uh, the areas, which thing is where, like in the oceanic terminology, that one question was there. So this was the small sections. Then let's come to the water pollution, which was the big unit, and quite a couple of questions have been asked about the water pollution. Right, water pollution was another big unit where a lot of question came, like, they have directly asked about the the values of different substances. Like there was about the relationship, and they will definitely ask about the variations of dissolved oxygen in day and night time. And then they have given a question over the whenever we have a point source, that how the variation happens with respect to the movement of the water, like how its DOD and COD varies, right? So that question was there. Then oxygen sac curve was in highlight today at this time, right? Oxygen sac curve, right? Or Stewart Phillip curve was there in the form of a question where they have asked that once from in the downstream the DO level improves. That was the question. Then after this question, they have definitely asked about epilimnion, thermocline, and hypolimnion. This question was also there about epilimnion, thermocline, and hypolimnion. Right, they have asked about the thermal stratification of the lakes. Then the eutrophication of the lakes was not there, right? And but they have asked about the zone that hypolimnion, thermocline, and distance was there. Then definitely there was a question over heavy metals. Like they have asked about the heavy metals where the toxicity has to be matched, and where they have target about mercury, where they ask about neurodegeneration, about Minamata disease. They have also targeted other heavy metals, like they targeted the Minamata, as well as they targeted the arsenicosis. Arsenicosis was there. And then they've also asked about the, along with the arsenic, they've also asked about the nitrate, where methemoglobinemia was there. Right, this kind of mixed question was there, right, where they've asked different question regarding the heavy metals. Fluoride was also there. One of them was fluoride. So this was another question where they have asked about fluoride. Then definitely one question was there from pesticide, which we count under the water pollution only. So pesticide was having one question where they definitely ask about the organochlorine persistency, like the maximum persistent nature was shown by the organochlorine, as I can tell you that organochlorine, the highly persistent, right? So organochlorine question was there, highly persistent. Same question was there, right? Organochlorine highly persistent was there. Then after this, nothing was on entity. Then the bioaccumulation and biomagnification have also been asked in a minor thing where there was a right wrong answer. So assertion reason, bioaccumulation and biomagnification along with DDT. This question was there in the form of a assertion reason. It was there directly. Then coming to the treatment, wastewater treatment, if we ask about wastewater treatment, was having one question that which kind of treatment is there, though it was not there in the paper 2, but in paper 1, wastewater treatment, where the biological things were added after like the primary treatment, secondary treatment, tertiary treatment. So the types of treatment is being asked. Types of treatment, right? Then groundwater. Yeah, groundwater. There was two question at least from the groundwater. Then we have the question on groundwater hydrology. So from groundwater hydrology, let me tell you guys, there were definitely questions from Equiclude, right? The materials, like we had a clear-cut question on Equiclude, where we have types of the materials. So Equiclude were asked, right? Where we know that the material which is found but cannot transfer the water, right? It was an indirect question. Then we also had a question on Darcy's law, where they have directly asked the Darcy's law statement, right? Darcy law was asked the form of one question, right? So Darcy law was also there along with that, and they have asked that whether the expression is directly or inversely. So this thing was under the target that Q is equal to K A dH by dl. Right, they asked the relationship between these two also for today's exam. Fluoride we have already talked about transformation and nitrate pollution is also there. Then coming to air pollution and climate change, lots of question was there, and it emerges once again a big unit. Air pollution and climate change emerges out to be a very big unit today. And once again, if you'll count, a lot of questions have been asked. Air pollution and climate change was on the agenda. And starting from the initial time, they have asked the question about, they have directly started asking the questions from the OH radical, like OH radical is the most reactive oxygen species. So there was a question about OH radical when they said that the OH radical is the ROS reactive oxygen species. Then they've also asked question about the particle size, like which kind of particles are removed from the secondary pollutant was not there, but there was not a question. Then we do have question on the acid rain was asked, but it was asked differently, right? Not directly. And they have asked about a question about SALR and DLR, where they have asked about that SALR and DLR have been asked that whether the SALR value is always smaller than DLR value, right? Such kind of statement they have put up and tried to frame a question, right? No question on looms this time, because out of two, they generally ask one question. Then if you ask there was a question over climate change stuff, not even a single, there were at least 3 to 4 questions of climate change stuff. We saw it very clearly that what was there with respect to the greenhouse and all these things. First of all, there was a order of like global warming potential of different gases, right? So they have given about methane and all these things, that which one is having how much global warming potential, right? There was a question of arrangement about the CO2, methane, N2O. Then we had the CFCs and yeah, CF4, just 50,000 years per fluorocarbon. This was there. Then, yeah, so this question was also there in the exam, like directly global warming potential, GWP of these gases were asked. Then we also had a residence time of some of the compounds which have been mentioned Like we have the different variety of halocarbons or CFCs category where they have asked these things. Then after that they move to the other stuffs. Some questions were there like this. They have also more targeted the different varieties. But after that, definitely they ask some of the questions from the devices. Like we had the horizontal type of settler or settling chamber, particle size like 50 micrometer, right? 50 micrometer for these gravitational settling chamber or horizontal type of settler. The size they have asked that greater than 50 micrometer to they have asked about horizontal type of settler. There was a question. These devices were asked horizontal type settler like more than 50 micrometer. Then for ESP, you could have less than 1 micrometer particles. And we have centrifugal separator for greater than 5 and less than 8. Right, this was there. Then there was a very good numerical on bag filter this time. So we had a numerical on bag filter also, where the diameter and the length was given and bag filter numbers were asked, right? So it was a unique numerical, first time is being asked here. The number were asked there, bag filters regarding. Then if you ask me regarding the analytical methods, a good number of questions were there from analytical methods. Like for analytical methods, we do have the ranges of different sort of the microwaves. Then we also had a question, in fact, two questions from HPLC. HPLC was the main highlight. HPLC were having two questions. We had a question about detector, right? Where they have asked about the detector and HPLC, right? How they can justify them. And then moving ahead, we had a question from natural hazard also. Right, natural hazard, as I told you, they have asked about the earthquake waves. So they have asked about earthquake, not in this paper, but in paper one. So P wave were asked, like we have the body wave and surface wave. Then we did have a question about the regarding, yeah, P wave were asked. Um, Not exactly on the volcano, the question was there, but landslides, nothing was asked. Then we also had a question regarding, yeah, this was from the first module. But there was a question of ESP also over the efficiency. Like we had a question over the ESP efficiency where directly the 95% was the correct answer, and you could have answered that easily. It was a old question which have been multiple times asked in earlier era. Like we had this formula with us, which we can wrote down like eta efficiency is equal to 1 minus e to the power minus of WA divided by Q. where W is the terminal velocity, A is the total collection area, right? Eta is the efficiency and Q is the volumetric airflow. So this was the formula, and if you solve it, it can be, I guess, something around 95% was the correct answer. If we calculate the exact data which they have given, right? So that can be worked out, which was an easy hint for the exam, right? Then they have also asked about the latest CO2 emitters ranking of the country, right? So in that case, they have given big countries like China, United States, etc. So they have given the examples like they have asked generally the 2025 data, but I think the options was there, right? China is the largest emitter as per as the that. Then number two we had USA. Number three we have India, and so on, right? So it was given, and the emissions for quanta was given. So China, US, India, Russia, Japan, and then we were having UK, United Kingdom was also there in that list. So this was one of the GS type of questions which was asked from air pollution side and climate change side. Then we can also have the questions from like the next unit was on agenda like ecology. If I say lots of question was there from ecology, guys. It was no, it was immersed out to be a good unit this time, but most of the questions were repeated. Let me tell you, most of the questions from the ecology was repetitive type. And if you ask me repeatedly, they have asked a lot of repetitive question from ecology. Let me say from the very beginning of ecology, where they have kept their hand, like they have asked about the mm, they have asked about the hierarchy first, right? They have asked about the hierarchy first, like we have the species to population, species to population, population to community, community to ecosystem, ecosystem to landscape, landscape to biome, and biome to biosphere. This question was there in the form of one of the question. It was there. Then they have directly asked like who gave the different terms. Like they have asked about that ecosystem was given by Tensley, right? It was there. Then the concept of the hotspot was given by Meyer. Another two names were there, which was in the form of a question. So this was one of the common question was there. Then we had ecosystem services in highlight this time. Ecosystem services, Costenja was there, right? Ecosystem services. Mean ask. Then types of soil is being asked for various ecosystem like tropical. Yeah, they have asked these things also like tropical rainforest, savannas. They have asked about, right? And their soil type have been targeted by the examiner. Then we had certain like questions over the points like the at each trophic level the energy decrease. This was the flow of energy, like at each trophic level energy decrease. This was one of the statement. This was one of the question. Then we also had, yeah, this was a question. Then they have also asked some of the questions about the cycles, right? Where they have particularly asked that which of the following cycle is sedimentary as well as gaseous, right? So they have asked about the sedimentary and gaseous, the cycle which is both, and they have given example of carbon cycle, sulfur cycle, phosphorus cycle, and nitrogen cycle. Such kind of question was there, quite obvious. This question was easy and easily answerable, right? So this kind of simple questions were there, but yes, the that's why we are saying that paper was like bit easy to moderate. So that kind of thing. And here you know that the carbon cycle was the correct answer for this thing, which was the easy, but sulfur cycle is also one of the participant, right? So carbon is the most obvious, right? Logical thing, right? Carbon and sulfur were the both of them there. Then guys, moving ahead, we had a question on ecological succession, which is directly taken from the literature. Like they have asked this time about the succession of like Zirach. They have asked about Zirach, where they have given the order of pair rocks and all. So it was a direct question from the booklet, where they have asked that the first step is the bare rock, then followed by lichen, right? And there we have the uh, shrub stage. The options they have skipped out. Then we have scrub and finally forest. So this kind of thing was also there. So in the form of a question, this was there, right? So this question was also there, right? Where we have given the various stuffs like the successional stuffs, which is there. Then they had a question about the pioneer and climax community where the R selective and the K selective arguments were there, like R versus K, one line was there in order to choose the correct answer where it was there, and P by R ratio was also being asked. Sorry, in the climax community. Right. These are all memory based stuff, guys, but most accurately it is. Then they have also asked about the, yeah, they have asked about the environmental education, like which should be taught in the environmental education, though that was the part of this. Then they have also asked about who proposed this alpha, beta, gamma diversity. No doubt it was there. Then they also asked about not much from conservation and all. Then hotspot, I've already told you that hotspot was proposed by Meyer, Norman Meyer. Right, this was one of the questions. Then they have also asked about ecotones, though it was an indirect question. But ecotones they have once again highlighted in the exam, the transition zone between the two communities. Right. Then they have also asked about Yeah, so this was almost a good number of questions from ecology. Once the exam will be out, we will ask more of the questions. Then we had the soil with us, right? And in soil, most of the stuffs, let me tell you, was repeated from the booklets and uh, our selected solutions, right? So a lot of questions were there from soil, let me tell you very clearly. Lot of questions were there. And if you ask me, the first question was like histosols, podosols, antisols, vertisols. These different types of sols were there and directly from the booklet. So various variety of the sols were is being asked, right? The various type of sols were being asked. A lot of questions were there over these sols, and directly last semester also there was a question of matching these all component and the tabulated matching of various sols, like we have the antisol, vertisols, histosols and oxysols. Like histosol was there, right? They were having these terminologies. Histosols were there, oxysols were there, right? Unit by unit, we are telling you people. Antisol and vertisols were there. And definitely it was an easy question and repeated question. Multiple time it is being asked in the different variety in the stuff. Then they have definitely asked about like the tropical rainforest, savannas, their soil type. They have asked about tropical rainforest. They have asked about savannas. They have asked about the tundra and chaparral and their soil types. They have asked. This was there. Then phosphorus, yeah, the phosphorus, various different forms like the orthophosphate and trihydrogen orthophosphate. Like there was a question over orthophosphate and which forms are more available and solubilized, right? So, as all of you are aware that plant absorb phosphate in the form of orthophosphates, which we have dihydrogen orthophosphate and monohydrogen orthophosphate. In the neutral pH, they have asked about dihydrogen and monohydrogen orthophosphate, right? These two species I'm talking about, where there was an exact question about these species like H2PO4 minus and HPO4 2 minus. There was a question over this, right? And phosphorus was there. Then there was a question over cycle. Then we had a question over we had a question over gel dal nitrogen, where they have asked about what is gel dal nitrogen or total gel dal nitrogen. I guess it is mentioned various places and multiple times in the older vision. A lot of question. So if you talk about the total gel dal nitrogen, they have asked about that what all is there, and clearly it have been mentioned as we have organic nitrogen plus ammonia or ammonium. So both of them was there. That organic nitrogen plus ammonia or ammonium was there in one of the option, but this question was asked directly that where you can mention that organic nitrogen plus ammonia or ammonium ion, NH4 plus it should be. This was the correct answer for that. But it was there indefinitely in one of the questions as far as the things is concerned. Orthophosphate, we have already mentioned that there came a question from orthophosphate, right? They've also asked the questions this time over the different variety of the soils, right? Which was the stuff. And like alkaline soil, saline soil, sodic soil, they have asked. And definitely speaking, for that purpose, we had a rich of calcium, magnesium, and neutral soil, and sodic soil. And sodic soil, we have already told you people that sodium carbonate and bicarbonate, like sodic soil was there. So in case of the sodic soil, like the common ions are sodium bicarbonate. Right, it was there. And then we had the saline soil with us where NaCl was there. So these were some of the common questions directly taken from the booklet. Saline soil was there, sodic soil was there, right? So then, yeah, sodic and saline soil was there. They have also asked about the laterite soil where aluminum was abundant. They have asked about sources of acidity in soil directly from the booklet, like they have given you multiple options that acid formation, production of organic acids, then nitrification and addition of fertilizer and dissolution of organic acids. The sources of acidity in soil was asked, which was directly from the book of Institute Acidity. And you can say being discussed in the class multiple times. This was there. Yeah, they have also asked about the CEC capacity of soil, cation exchange capacity, right? Was also there. Like altogether, more than 5 questions were there from soil, right? So those are there. Then after soil, we reach to whole units like ecology. We are done with soil. Then we reach to the small unit which was there, and that was radioactivity. A good number of questions were there directly from the book, right? From radioactivity or nuclear chemistry. 2, 3 questions were there, like quick ones, right? And those quick ones, like they have asked somewhere the questions about the half-life. Clear-cut question about the half-life where carbon-14 is being asked, which is 5,700 year was one of the option. And then they have asked about potassium-40 directly from the book. That was 1.4 into 10 to the power 9 years. Then they have asked about, yeah, one more table was there. So 2 more options were there, and they frame a question to match the half-life. So it was the easy go out, like you could have easily match, right? And it was a easy go round, that how we can easily catch those kind of questions from there, where the easily you can would have identified the half-lives of these molecules, which was easy to identify, not like all the times they give the stuff where the degree of toughness was there, like last time also they asked a good variety of questions which were quite tough. And they have asked about other different molecules, like I have told you about the Yeah, somewhere cesium was there or strontium was there. But uranium was also there. Uranium 238. Let me tell one of the options, which was 4.5 into 10 to the power 9 here. This was also one of the options. So this kind they made a question. Then we have plutonium 2.4 into 10 to the power 4 here. Plutonium was, I guess, one of the options which was there. So 2.4, 10 to the power 4 here. Easy question was there from this. And then they had a question over the fusion versus fission. Second question was fusion versus fission, that why the nuclear reactor core cannot melt into the fission. Right. The entire and the pure logics have been asked regarding this. Then this was there. So easy picks were there this time for like fission and fusion, no extraordinary type of questions, right? Then yeah, so it was one of the question there. Then we came to the next unit, which was rocks and mineral. Good quanta of question have came from the rocks and mineral this time, and full package of like 4 to 5 question was there from rock and mineral, if you ask me. And the very first question was regarding the table that which talks about the classifications of these rocks on the basis of metamorphic stuffs. Right. So they have targeted that table where we have different variety of the rocks, and we had the mm, metamorphism is directly add up, right? So they have asked about the metamorphic characters where, yeah, they have exactly asked this, that what is the order of metamorphism, the degree of metamorphism, right? So we can say it was like this. We have slate, which is the inferior one. This is a repeated question. Then we have phyllite. Then we have cyst. And in last, we have gneiss. This is the order of degree of metamorphosis. This was there, right? So one question was from here. Then the same question, Earth as a whole, which we have discussed already. You can consider that Earth as a whole question here also, as that is also considered to be the part of mineral and rock. So we can simply say that, okay, that will this part here, and we can say iron is more than oxygen, more than silica, more than magnesium, more than nickel, more than sulfur, more than calcium, more than aluminum. This was there in the form of question. Luckily, we had this time the silicate mineral type question, and chelonite is being asked, where the emphasis was given on cation exchange capacity. Chelonite was there. Cementite was also there. One of the stuff. Then we also had Bowman reaction series, where they have asked about the orthoclase and plesioclase. So we do also have in target the Bowen's reaction series. This was the third question on this, which was make the earlier crystallize and the late crystallize causing us. One more question was there about the stability. If you ask me, the same thing which we have been repeatedly emphasizing, that there will be a question someday from the Sorry. So some there will be a question from this stuff where we do talk about the these stability stuff, which was a small order, right? Like we have moho hardness. Yeah, moho hardness was one of the question. मोहो हार्डनेस के ऊपर भी गाइस एक क्वेश्चन आया मिनरल एंड रॉक से, जिसमें आपको टैल्क इज नंबर वन, देन जिप्सम वाज देयर इन द ऑप्शन. We also have quartz. So gypsum is basically number two. Gypsum is number two, and then we had the calcite was there, which was number three, and we were having quartz and orthoclase. So orthoclase was number six, and quartz was number seven. This was the question. So in total, 4 or 5 questions were, or more than that, was there from mineral and rock, which makes some of the balances here in mineral rock. Okay, good quantity of question is being asked from mineral and rock. So this was about the mineral and rock, what they have asked. Then we had the big unit, and this time they made it perfect. Like we had the big number of questions from there, and energy, which was the very big unit, emerges out to be a very big unit, energy, and almost more than 6, 7 question was there from this section, energy. Right from the beginning, like we had a question from hydropower, right? And then subsequently, if you go, we had a question from, yeah, we had a question from like ethanol, bioethanol, diesel, their calorific values, exact question. Then wood alcohol was also there. So they have asked the question about that biodiesel, wood alcohol, and their calorific values. The calorific value was the agenda. And basically, they have given the different variety. Let me tell you the values exactly. They have given crude oil, right? They have given crude oil. Then they have given biodiesel. They have given wood. They have given anthracite. And wishes to know the order of their calorific values or heating value. So this was the question, and we know the order very easily from the older question. Coal, there was one question, right? Then we had a question over OTEC. OTEC was an agenda, that what is the drawbacks, plus and minus, specifically the efficiency part they ask in the assertion reason. And what are the use and misuse are there. Then we definitely had a question on tidal, right? Where they ask about the power, and it's like 1000 into Q into G into H. Right, so this was the question where the head was given, and they asked the tidal energy drawback and wind energy. Very simple question was there, and wind energy, or the pet question came. Wind energy, the maximum power coefficient. Wind energy, which was the KCP, which is 16 by 27. This was one of the question, all-time favorite question, and again it has came. The 16 by 27 was the answer. Then we had a question on geothermal. Energy से काफी question इस बार. They have asked geothermal energy. They have asked about few statements of geothermal energy. Directly they have asked. We do had the calorific value of petroleum. One question was there, or the petroleum calorific value. Not about the recovery, but definitely the calorific values of petroleum. They have definitely asked about the calorific value of petroleum. Then we had the questions over other parts as well, as like some more questions were there. Wind was also there, as you mentioned. But in total, the 6 to 7 question, more than even that, was there for the energy side, right? Then we had good number of questions over the, like if I take the big unit, environmental chemistry, good number of questions were there, right? We had a question over mixing ratio, right? Environmental chemistry. And good number of questions were there, like we had a question on mixing ratio, where we are being given the pressure, and the other two stuffs were there, like if you ask the, and it was a direct question from Daniel Jacob. And the question was quite straightforward and relational, like they have given the, like simply they have asked about the saturation mixing ratio, which was one of the numerical, right? Where saturation mixing ratio is 0.6 times of ES by P, and where ES is the saturation vapor pressure, which was there, and 0.6 12.025. So such kind of question was there on this calculations regarding the water droplet and all. This was one of the question from environmental chemistry this time. Then we also had good number of questions from statistics. It was the, like a major unit emerges out to be. The statistics was there, which was statistics, big boom and big questions. Lot of questions were there in the, lot of questions were there. Just a minute, guys. Yeah. So if we start from the beginning, like a lot of other questions were there, like we had a question over the measure of dispersion. Number one, like we had a question from measure of dispersion, where the simple answers were given, like they were given the range, interquartile range, right? Coefficient of variance, and then we have standard deviation on. Then we were also given questions on variables, right? Like they have asked about the discrete and continuous variable. So discrete variables and continuous variable, they have asked, specifically discrete, right? The discrete they have asked. Then they have asked about the, yeah, they have asked a easy question about the normal distributions, like what is the standard normal mean, right? Standard normal mean they have asked, and they have also asked a question about the minus 1 sigma plus 1 sigma, plus 2 sigma plus 3 sigma. These limits they have checked out, where they have given about 16 as a mean and standard deviation as 3, and they have checked out the limit. This kind of question was there, right? Then we had and definitely the 68% within 1 sigma, then 95% 2 sigma, and 99 3 sigma. Such kind of question was there, where the limits can be checked or the confidence interval can be formed. Then measure of dispersion, I have already told you. We also had a question about the median, where it is a 50th percentile. Percentile, we had a question, like we have the question over the percentile, decile, and quartile, where a relationship was there. To understand, all of you are aware, like percentile was there, then quartile is 25, 50, 75. The 50 percentile is the median. Then third quartile means like the 75. This way they have to arrange these things. Then we had the question over the different varieties, like interquartile range was there. They have asked range, coefficient of variance, and skewness. They have asked about whether they are there or not. Then we also had a question over inferential statistics, where they have asked about the when we can apply t-test, when we can apply f-test, all these old stuff, old school thought were there, all of them. So if somebody know that f-test, t-test, when they are implicit and so on, then chi-square was also there, goodness of fit. Chi-square goodness of fit was there. They have also asked the question t-test. I have mentioned that t-test they have asked once and tried to test it the calculation as well. F-test they have asked. Then they have given a question about sum of the square within the group SSW, and they have given the other terms, and they have tried to identify the relationship between them. Chi-square we have mentioned. Independent assortment. They have asked the question over this formula regarding the correlation coefficient, where we have n summation xy minus summation x and under root of summation of n summation x square minus x bar square minus into, means they were identifying equation from you, like the values of r which can be arranged, right? Or more precisely, we can say that, yeah, they have asked the value of r definitely. Then regression, yes, they had asked a question over regression also, where they wish to ask that which are the parameters. Then, yeah, variable they have asked, and probability distribution, like we said that for standard normal, right? Normal Gaussian or bell shape. So standard normal distribution, all of you aware that mean is equal to 0, which was there, which was unimodal stuff. So standard normal distribution, few parameters are there, like some of the deviations, right? Then, yeah, these kind of questions were there from probability. And if you go to EIA, municipal solid waste, and environmental law. So let me tell you, there was repeated questions from EIA, which was being asked on the earlier year, like EIA, we had a lot of questions. At least 3 or 4 questions were there from EIA, where we had questions from EIA where they have asked various types of stuff. In fact, in 2006 notification, they have asked a lot of questions. And all this was all stuff like it was old stuff, notes, not the new one, but quite convincing one. Like one was the steps, right? Like project description, screening, scoping. This was there. This was definitely there. Like we had screening. What is the job? Number one. Then we have scoping. What is the job of scoping? Then we have baseline study, impact assessment, all these. Then we had a question surprisingly out of nowhere this time from the methods. Like we have the checklist methods and we had the metrics method, Leopold metrics, right? Where we have to assign the values, right? So impacts what we can see. Then we have all these process like mitigation, reporting, review of EIA. One question was there, stages were there like screening, scoping, baseline. Then we had impact assessment, mitigation, environmental, all were there. Then they specifically asked from 2006 notification that category A project from central government's approval, right? So central government prior environmental clearance is required. Category B, if you ask that B1 need it, but B2 don't need it. Same question was asked. B1 need it and B2 don't need it. B2 not needed. Same theme line, no change. Then they have asked about the environmental appraisal committee and SESC appraisal committee for the states. Screening, scoping, public consultation appraisal was there. Then environmental clearance, something they have asked. Not much. This was there. Nothing much from the ISO side. Then comes the stuff regarding the waste. So normal question was there. One was from biomedical waste, municipal waste. One was from the process. From biomedical waste, the bins, the types of bin, like which bin you will, which kind of waste. Then biodegradation of waste was there. So I had a question on like landfill style where we have the different phases of reactions. Then few questions were there from the environmental law also. Right, small questions were there from like we had the environmental. Like we had a question like we had it last time also, apart from like which questions were there. So there was a question from the EPR sort of stuff and neglecting the other stuffs like they have asked regarding the battery waste, but other things were also there. One question was from there. Then we had a question of thermoplast, thermosetting for the waste. That was from the waste side. Plus some of the other questions which were not in the frame reference, but more precisely, I would be happy to talking about the passage, comprehension passage, which we predicted like could be something from the evolutionary side. So comprehension passages or say passages of subject. Specifically, we say it from 140 to 150. Question number. So the guys, there were two passages. One passage was from the geological time scale, which was already predicted that earlier also they have hit geological time scale, which was easy to handle. And the other one was the from evolution of Earth, early Earth, evolution of Earth. So similar type of passages were being asked in the past, right? If you have an idea and you studied the evolution of Earth and geological time scale, every time we include into the ecological part where we have like Ordovician, Silurian, Permian, all these sort of time periods. And then here also that what is the average age of the Earth? Such kind of questions were there. But overall, let me tell you and conclude it after the good sort of discussion. We can conclude it like the overall paper, overall difficulty level of paper, like the 7th Jan 2026, paper 2, environmental science. So 3 line we can conclude that paper was easy to moderate. Let me give this fact, easy to moderate as compared to last paper, because we compare with last paper before that multiple times of paper have happened. But as compared to last paper, it was easy to moderate. The reason is being like PYQ, previous year questions were there. Multiple previous year questions. In fact, the solutions which we have done in the past and the selected solutions of all like from the last 5 years, a lot of questions were there. Second, one liner were there, direct. So it make the life easy, right? Third, because passage was also easy, though it makes a sense. So we can expect expectation expectation of hike in cutoff. So we can expect somewhere around 200 or slash 210 for a JRF in general category. Means like it could go because they give limited number of seat in the JRF. So 210 or 200 could be a JRF for general category I'm talking about. Rest could have variable cutoff. This is some certain expectation because the paper was easy from the last year. So we can definitely put some 10 to 15 questions over the last year. And if you put 10 question, it marks out to be 200. And if you put 15 question, it marks out to be 30. So last time it was 180. So definitely 200 to 210 ka bracket ek banta hai for general category. And if you ask me for net purpose, I would definitely say it will be somewhere between 170 to 180 for sure on net LS. Definitely for 180, I would say, because it was an easy paper. So net LS somewhere between 180. So this was the conclusion and a review, the memory base from the team of A.S.S Science Foundations. And the upcoming batch will start from 11th of January with full flash manner in the live online program, correspondence with video, only correspondence and test series program. So those are offline as well at our center. So those who are interested, they can reach us. Thank you very much for trusting us and our content which we give for the community purpose on our YouTube. This video is only made for the people who by somehow, because few of our students were not able to reach the center. So like at least out of 100, like 80 or 100 people, a few like 3-4 people was because of some issues they were not able to reach a center. Such kind of students will can put some light that paper was in the range and with them. So this was from our side a small effort for the community, though this was not the exact paper. This was on the memory base, like the 15 to 20 students which we give the feedback, and some of the young members of the team who were present at the centers and giving the exams. So we talk to them and then we try to frame a overall reviews. So hope you enjoyed it. and see you with the next round of information in the upcoming day at our YouTube channel. Take care, keep working hard. The next exam will be in June 2026, and I wish that everyone should work hard for that, because now the things are at par level and you have to work regularly in order to achieve your JRF, so that you have the good quality of fellowship during your research. Take care. Good night.